Welcome to Lesson 6 about legal frameworks for international business of our course on International Studies in Business. Today we continue our exploration of the political and legal dimensions of international business. In this session, we will delve into the legal frameworks that govern cross-border business activities, examining the role of international law, trade agreements, and regulatory bodies in shaping global commerce. Here are the key points that will be touched upon. 1. International law and treaties. For example, in United Nations Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, or CISG, World Trade Organization agreements, bilateral and multilateral treaties. 2. Trade agreements. Regional trade agreements, free trade agreements, and customs unions. 3. Regulatory bodies such as International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, International Court of Arbitration, World Intellectual Property Organization. Number 4, compliance and risk management. So under this, we will talk about legal compliance, contractual agreements, dispute resolution mechanisms. Today, we embark on a profound exploration of the legal frameworks that underpin international business operations. As business expand across borders, navigating diverse legal systems, regulations, and ethical considerations become paramount. In this session, we will delve into the intricacies of international law, trade agreements, and ethical issues in global business operations. Let us commence our journey by examining the foundations of international law. International law governs relations between sovereign states and serves as the legal framework for cross-border transactions and interactions. Key principles of international law include sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the principle of non-intervention. A pivotal aspect of international business is the myriad of trade agreements and regulatory frameworks that shape global commerce. Regional agreements such as free trade agreements and customs unions promote trade liberalization, tariff reductions, and harmonization of regulatory standards. While international organizations like the World Trade Organization play a central role in enforcing trade rules and resolving disputes among member states. Additionally, the United Nations Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, CISG, provides a uniform legal framework for international sales contracts, enhancing predictability and facilitating cross-border trade transactions. Beyond legal compliance, ethical considerations are also paramount in global business operations. Ethical dilemmas such as bribery, corruption, human rights violations, and environmental degradation pose significant challenges for multinational corporations. So, upholding ethical principles, corporate social responsibility, or what we call a CSR, and sustainable business practices are essential for building trust, reputation, and long-term viability in the global marketplace. Now, to enrich our understanding, let us delve into two real-world case studies and practical insights highlighting the interplay between legal frameworks and ethical considerations in international business. Case Study 1. The Siemens bribery scandal. Case 2. Nike and labor rights in overseas factories. Through these case studies, we will examine ethical dilemmas faced by multinational corporations and explore strategies for ethical decision-making and corporate accountability. Case Study 1, the Siemens bribery scandal. Background. Siemens, a multinational conglomerate, faced a significant ethical dilemma when it was revealed that the company engaged in widespread bribery to secure contracts in various countries. The scandal involved millions of dollars in illicit payments to government officials and business partners to gain unfair advantages in competitive markets. So what are the challenges that Siemens faced? One, legal consequences. Siemens faced legal repercussions in multiple jurisdictions due to violations of anti-corruption laws, including the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and similar regulations in other countries. Number two, they also face reputational damage. The bribery scandal tarnished Siemens' reputation as a trusted and ethical business entity, thereby leading to loss of investor confidence and damage to brand integrity. Number three, they also face challenge when it comes to corporate governance. The scandal raised questions about Siemens' corporate governance practices and oversight mechanisms, highlighting the need for robust international controls and compliance frameworks. What are the strategies the Siemens adopted? One, compliance overhaul. Siemens implemented comprehensive compliance programs and anti-corruption measures to prevent future ethical lapses. The company established strict protocols for due diligence, third-party vetting, and employee training to ensure compliance with legal and ethical standards. Number two, transparency and accountability. Siemens embraced transparency and accountability by disclosing details of the bribery scandal, cooperating with regulatory authorities, and appointing independent monitors to oversee compliance efforts. Number three, cultural change. Siemens fostered a culture of integrity and ethical behavior through leadership commitment, employee engagement, and reinforcement of ethical values across all levels of the organization. Case study number two, Nike and labor rights in overseas factories. Background: Nike, the global sportswear giant, faced ethical challenges related to labor rights violations in its overseas manufacturing facilities. Reports emerged of poor working conditions, low wages, and labor exploitation in factories contracted by Nike to produce its products. What are the challenges faced specifically? One, human rights concerns. Nike faced scrutiny and public backlash over allegations of human rights abuses and violations of labor standards in its supply chain, thereby damaging its reputation as a socially responsible corporation. Number two, supply chain transparency. The complex and decentralized nature of Nike's global supply chain made it challenging to monitor and address labor issues effectively, leading to criticism of inadequate oversight and accountability. Number three, legal liability. Nike faced potential legal liability for labor rights violations under international conventions, local labor laws, and corporate social responsibility standards. So what are the strategies Nike adopted to address those challenges? One, supply accountability. Nike implemented supplier accountability programs and supply chain audits to monitor compliance with labor standards and improve working conditions in overseas factories. The company established codes of conduct for suppliers and conduct regular assessments to ensure adherence to ethical and legal requirements. Number two, stakeholder engagement. Nike engaged with stakeholders, including labor rights organizations, NGOs, and industry peers to address concerns and collaborate on sustainable solutions for labor rights in the apparel industry. Number three, transparency initiatives. Nike enhanced transparency and public reporting on its in its supply chain practices, labor initiatives, and CSR efforts to promote accountability and build trust with customers, investors, and advocacy groups. These case studies provide real-world examples of multinational corporations navigating complex legal frameworks and ethical considerations in international business. Analyzing these cases allows students to understand the importance of legal compliance, ethical decision-making, and corporate responsibility in global business operations. Navigating the complex terrain of international legal compliance requires robust risk management strategies. Businesses must stay abreast of regulatory changes, ensure compliance with local laws and regulations, and of course, implement effective risk mitigation measures. Contractual agreements due to diligence processes and dispute resolution mechanisms play a crucial role in safeguarding business interests and mitigating legal risks. So as we conclude our exploration of legal frameworks for international business and ethical considerations in global operations, let us reflect on the profound implications for businesses operating in an increasingly interconnected world. By understanding the complexities of international law, embracing ethical principles, and fostering a culture of corporate responsibility, businesses can navigate legal challenges, uphold ethical standards, and contribute to sustainable development and prosperity on a global scale. So that's all about this lesson. Now, let's have some review questions in order to retain certain important points in the lesson. One, what is the role of international law in governing cross-border transactions? International law serves as the legal framework for relations between sovereign states and regulates cross-border transactions, providing principles such as sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the principle of non-intervention. Two, discuss the significance of trade agreements in international business and provide an example. Trade agreements promote trade liberalization, tariff reduction, and regulatory harmonization among member states. An example of a trade agreement is the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, which facilitated trade between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. 3. Why are ethical considerations important in global business operations? Ethical considerations are important in global business operations to uphold principles of corporate responsibility, ensure respect for human rights, promote environmental sustainability, and maintain trust and reputation in the global marketplace. 4. What are some common ethical dilemmas faced by multinational corporations operating internationally? Common ethical dilemmas include bribery and corruption, human rights violations, labor exploitation, environmental degradation, and supply chain abuses. 5. How can businesses mitigate legal risks and ensure compliance with international laws and regulations? Businesses can mitigate legal risks and ensure compliance through diligent legal research, staying abreast of regulatory changes, implementing effective risk management strategies, conducting due diligence processes, drafting robust contractual agreements, and utilizing dispute resolution mechanisms. I now invite you to share your reflections, insights, and questions on the legal frameworks and ethical dimensions of international business. Let us engage in a dynamic dialogue exploring ways to promote legal compliance, ethical integrity, and responsible business practices in our professional endeavors. Thank you for your unwavering engagement, and I look forward, as always, to our enlightening discussion in our online platform. Next meeting, we will deal with Lesson 7 about global economic systems. See you then. Thank you.